do, everybody? You already know what it is. It's your boy, Ty G, back in the building on another beautiful day. Just want to say blessings for anybody who's tapping in with me today. Want to say thank y'all for tuning in. Prayers for all of y'all. But we're going to get right into the topic today, which has been on my mind recently, which has been on wrestling with me because I see it so much, and I think we all do, which is how do you stand out? So many of us, we want to pride on ourselves on how do we stand out, whether it's the food that we eat, the way that we dress, the community that we surround ourselves by or around. And we do everything we can to differentiate ourselves from everyone else so we can have our own unique, whether it's our own unique ability, whether it's in sports, whether it's in clothes, whether it's in community, whether it's in skills, whatever that may be. We all want to be different. We all want to have what makes us different, what makes us unique, why people want to, get closer to us. And I think we want to stand out in the wrong things, which is why this topic has been resonating with me so much. Because if we look in the world, we look out in the world, right? We see what everybody else is trying to do to differentiate themselves, whether it's different diets, different workouts, different clothes, different music, different mindsets. It all eventually becomes an idol to us when we start focusing too much on that and less with God. For example, for so many of us young men, we focus on keeping our body clean, working out, and eventually it becomes vanity to us. And I even had to have this realization myself. It becomes vanity to us. We care so much about how we look. We care so much about how others perceive us, how healthy we are. And it no longer becomes us keeping our body clean for temple reasons, as God says in the second book of Corinthians, but it now becomes us trying to do this so we can get more validation, we can get more attention. We post more on social media. And I even had this realization. I even had this conviction. And for so many of us, we become blind because we're trying to stand out, whether it's I'm trying to be as lean as possible, I'm trying to gain as much mass, I'm trying to have this, I'm trying to have that. And this is what I mean by how are we trying to stand out? How are you trying to stand out? Right? When it's oh, how am I dressing and how do I look? And I have these clothes, that clothes, I have this outfit. It's almost, it becomes so vain where now we're putting so much of our pride and so much ego on what clothes we have on instead of who we're worshiping and the time that we spend with them. And God sets us apart. He sets us apart. And the reason why I come to us today to bring up this topic is because it becomes so easy for us to become blind to it. But when those things are taken away from us, you almost feel stripped. You almost feel naked. For example, you have NFL players who all their life they played football. And then when they have to retire, they don't know what to do with themselves. And you see some of them getting in trouble. You see some of them doing things that they necessarily didn't do in their career. But now the fact that they don't necessarily have the practices, the film sessions, the let's say walkthroughs, anything that they're necessarily going through, they don't have that in their day-to-day basis now in retirement. And it's almost like, oh, I'm no longer that guy. I'm no longer that NFL guy. I'm no longer the star player. And I don't know what to do with myself. And that's because we pride so much of ourselves on what we do. And what a great example of this is the wide receiver on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Emeka Egbuka, who says, yeah, I get to play football, but I'm here to worship the Lord. I thank God for what He's given to me. Yeah, I have this ability to do this, to do that, and I stand out, and I'm in an amazing league. I have an amazing opportunity, but it's really God that has done this. And for so many of us, we become so blind, and I even talk about myself, but it's almost, what are you trying to stand out in? If you like to make content, you like to, shoot videos, that's absolutely awesome. I'm not taking anything away from you. You like to dress well, you like to work out. I'm not taking anything away from you. It's who are you when those things are taken away from you? Is that all you pride yourself on? Is that where your ego comes from? Because for so many of us, we don't even realize that until you take it away. And I've said this in previous videos before. We don't realize all we need is Jesus until all we have is Jesus. We see it with the book of Job when he goes through continuous trials and tribulations and he continues to lean on his faith with Jesus. We see when he encounters the Leviathan, when everything in his life has chaos, has gone to chaos, and he continues to keep that faith. What are you going to do when all those things that you pride yourself on are stripped away from you? How are you going to stand out? Are you going to lean on God, or are you going to lean further into the world? Because it's so easy to do that. So many people nowadays find a reason to cry and post it on social media, then go cry and lean on God. Think about how crazy that is. I'm gonna sit here, set up my camera, cry, put some captions on it, and then add some hashtags and post it on TikTok and social media for some sort of validation, some sort of not only validation, but some sort of comfort when other people can look at it and say, "Oh my gosh, I felt the way you felt." We're seeking validation from the world instead of running to Christ, instead of running to the one who died for us. And as I continue to have these thoughts, as I continue to look at different types of content on social media, it always confuses me on why people say they go to God when they're in times of peril, but then when they're up, they forget to go to him. Pray when life's going normal. Pray when life's going good. Pray when life's going bad. How would you feel if there's only somebody in your life that comes to you when they're only in trouble? Then you would feel like they're only using you to get to a better spot. That's how God feels when you only lean on him when you're in a bad spot. Now you receive some blessings and you turn your back on him. Imagine that. He poured into you, and you won't pour back into him, into this relationship, because you're too focused on how you stand out and how you look to everybody else in the world, when the world is lost. The world is lost. We are not citizens of this world. We are citizens of heaven, and we have to realize that, because when we pride ourselves so much on how we are looked upon in this world, we are going to forget what he really put in our hearts for us to do. Because when those things are stripped away from you, who are you? You're a child of God. You're a man of God. You're a woman of God. You aren't the things that the world tells you you are. And that's why so many of us need to look at, what are we trying to do? What are we focused on? What are we building? And how are we trying to make ourselves stand out? Is it through vanity? Is it through worldly knowledge and worldly wisdom? Is it through worldly possessions? Is it through money and financial gain? Because everything in this world will not be with you when you depart. When you depart and you have judgment and you meet God himself, you think he's going to care about all of these things that you had in the world? Or is he going to care that you poured into the relationship with him? That you had a covenant with him? That you went out and multiplied and had a wife and had a husband and followed what he had for you, the plan that he had for you? Surround yourself with a community of others. And I'm so passionate about this because I've seen so many people lose themselves in trying to focus on just the world and what the world could give them and how they're going to stand out. And whenever I tell them to lean on Jesus, whenever I tell them to lean on God, they always ask me, how do I know what's going to work? And I don't bring these topics up to chastise, to judge other people. I bring these up to truly spread awareness, because I myself could be blind to these, and I have been blind to this. And I bring up this topic because I truly care. Whether it gets 1 view, 10 views, 1 million views, I'd rather provide value to one than be fake to 1 million. But so many people get wrapped up in those who are fake to the millions. And then when those people eventually realize that all the things of this world don't matter anymore, they start to form a relationship with God. We see what's happening with Kai Cenat and him turning away from the main spotlight, because all of the joy it so-called brings, all of the value, all of the riches, all of the attention, it doesn't mean anything. None of this means anything unless you have a relationship with our Lord Jesus Christ. Because all of this will disappear, or you will lose yourself to the world. One or the other. But all right, y'all, I'm going to end up getting up out of here. Please make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe, tap in with me. I'm going to keep dropping some gems. I'm out.